This is Stryker of Enyo, and this is What's It Like Part 2 for Mad Max. Yeah, you know what? When I created What's It Like, the series, I never really expected to go back and make a Part 2 on a particular game. I kind of figured, this is what I'm doing aside from putting out a review, right from the start. And, it lets me get some information out for you, especially on a game that's relatively polarizing as this, where it gets 7s and 8s, but it's not getting 9s and 10s. But I really felt like I needed to put out a second one for Mad Max, because now I've played, 10 to 20 hours of the game. So I wanted to relay those experiences to you. And unfortunately, there's a few things that I got kind of disappointed with, like upgrades seem to kind of go in a linear path. So I wanted you guys to know about that. And don't get me wrong, I still recommended the game before, but let's see just exactly why. So this is what the map is going to look like. About 10 hours to 12 hours into your game. Everything's still kind of in red. I've actually liberated the initial starting area next to Jeet. And that stronghold, and I've got a mission to go over to Gut Gash. So when you start to get that mission to go over to Gut Gash, I recommend, go ahead and go over there and meet him and set up your second stronghold. As you can see, Pink Eye will be the third stronghold, and then you end up going to Gastown. So go to Gut Gash, and then when you do that, go back and start to do some of these items that you're missing here, like convoys and minefields and scarecrows that you haven't quite gotten in the initial starting area. You don't have to do it all, but just do some more. So one of the new things that you're going to start to probably see around 10 hours is the storm approachings. You might have seen a storm or two beforehand, but basically it's going to always tell you to seek shelter. At first you're going to maybe want to do that, but it's actually quite lucrative to stay in the storm, because around there you're going to have these mother load loot crates, or mother crates, I forget exactly what the game calls them, but they're basically a bunch of scrap. You're looking at 3 pieces of scrap in there that's going to give you 100 scrap per piece. And if you have a bonus, like I got the Volition thing on the back end of my car, it'll give you some extra, like 20% scrap or something like that. So yeah, and what you'll end up doing is during these sandstorms, you'll actually see crates flying around. So you need to use your harpoon and harpoon them. Now, this is kind of a tamer area. If you're over in Gut Gash's area, you'll actually get lightning strikes along with the sand and a bit more darkness. And here I have the wrong thing equipped, so I just shot it with a shotgun, and apparently that was good enough, the game designers said. I end up using the tow cable anyway, just to make sure that it's not going to go flying around. Now, sometimes after the storm has dissipated, you'll have these just laying around in general. This is actually a very short storm. I've actually had them last a good 2 to 3 minutes one time, at least. So you just break them open, you grab your scrap, and like I said, you're looking at 100 scrap per each one of those collect loot icons. So, this is... I'm sorry, it was a bonus 10, not 20. It's 300 scrap. That's pretty good for the beginning of the game. So after those first 10 hours, you're going to finally be able to buy the first jacket. Now, there's only 5 jackets in the game, so... yeah, 10 hours to get your first one, but it's going to make you look a little bit more like Mad Max from the movies. And, quite honestly, I've done 20 hours, and I haven't gotten the third jacket unlocked yet. I'm assuming it's going to take me another 5 hours. But you'll be able to upgrade your wrist armor, which basically puts, like forks and spoons at the end of your punches, and nuts and bolts. You'll finally be able to get a couple of head unlocks, which will give you a beard, and... yeah, I know. The next couple after this is like oil on your face and stuff like that. You'll finally be able to get a second barrel for your shotgun. And after 20 hours, I was able to give myself 3 barrels. You'll be able to unlock some more fighting skills. I forget if there's an achievement for unlocking them all. They help, like Fury Ground Executions. If you're in Fury mode, you can do it. You can break limbs. limb-breaking counters. You can use shivs to get away from being grappled. So the skills aren't bad. You know, add a couple so that you can use like melee weapons and down enemies quicker. It basically lets you take on hordes of enemies faster by being able to execute some of them initially and kind of move on from there. You're going to have all the items at this point, like the crowbar and stuff. Yeah, I'm missing Gas Guzzler. Fury Ground Executions, you know, some things you'll need. You don't need to buy them all. The thing about the car is when you want to add something like border spikes, so they'll give you good defense. Well, actually, the border spikes aren't so bad. You know, you'll start adding those things onto your car. You'll notice here that when it comes to the engine, you'll get little boosts. You pretty much have to go in order. Like in order to get the next one, you have to get the major V6 in order to get the massive V6, and so on. So it's kind of linear. You have to buy these things in order before you can get up to the V8s. Even if the 20% increase isn't really good enough for you, you have to buy it anyway. And things like you'll be able to finally upgrade your harpoon, though, after 10 hours, but as you can see, I need the retracto coils anyway to get the bumper hook attachment. So I have to buy the first upgrade in order for me to be able to buy the third upgrade. I'm sorry, that's the second upgrade, because I already got the first one. The first one is just letting you have it. So it's kind of annoying, and you really don't get any, you know, any semblance of being able to kind of modify it yourself. You know, most of the weapons you're just upgrading in order. Same thing with the sniper rifle. You know, it might seem like a 25% increase on your reload time isn't that necessary, but you can't get the next upgrade until you get the Just Now kit. You can't get the extended mag until you buy the first one. So yeah, it kind of sucks, and it makes you spend your money in certain spots. You should be able to get a side burner relatively close to around the 10-hour mark. Like the Thunderpoon I can't use yet, because it's based on a story mission. I've done 20 hours in the game, and I am trying to clean up the starting area a little bit so I could get some upgrades and buy some more stuff for my car. Body colors you get from taking out the top dogs. Suspension is what you need to increase your handling, and when you want to add armor, you'll find out that it's going to take a lot away from your top speed and your acceleration and your handling. Maybe not so much your top speed, but yeah, you're going to need to kind of upgrade everything as you go. So that's kind of the disappointing thing. You need to upgrade your suspension if you're going to go with a bigger engine. But as you're playing, you're also going to start to find car bodies now. Now, for the most part, the car bodies don't do anything themselves, but you do need certain ones in order to fulfill, like, the Archangel tasks of, you know, being able to, you know, do certain looks and maybe pass off as the enemy in some areas. Yeah, you know, fighting isn't going to be that much more advanced as you get to it. The Shiv Punishers, you know, you'll be able to finish people off with shivs. This is before I did an ammo upgrade. You know, you're basically at the first ammo upgrade for like the first 10 hours of the game, and I'm really sorry. Where you can only have 3 shotgun shells and 1 shiv. The second upgrade for max is like 2 shivs, 5 shotgun shells, and some sniper rifle. And it takes a while to get to that next step. After 20 hours, I'm not at the third ammo belt, as you would call it. The one cool thing, though, is that, you know, finally after 10 hours, you should have enough upgrades and stuff on your car to be able to take out the convoys. The convoys are what give you the special hood ornaments, that give you special abilities. Here I got my flame grill stuff on. I've got some added armor. It uses up fuel, but I've gotten a few upgrades on Max himself, so he doesn't quite use as much fuel in driving, so I'm not quite as worried about it. But yeah, taking out the convoys is pretty fun. Now these guys have 1 armor. That means I need to do enough damage to them to take away that number 1 before I can actually start to tear off their doors and their wheels, before I can actually take them out of the fight. And later on in the game, you're looking at cars that are going to have armor of like 2 and 3, and I'm not sure if 4 exists, but like there, I just took off the armor, so now I can finally use my harpoon and rip off a wheel. I don't get credit for destroying the vehicle, but I do take him out of my way at the moment. And you can pull off the door, and you can also pull the guy out of the vehicle, but you actually need to destroy these. Don't take these back to your base. It's intended for you to destroy it. As you can see, he still has, some armor on, but I've got, the blades on my wheels, so I do grinding damage. Like, there we go. I tore him down, so now I can actually just grab his tire if I want. I can pull his door off, or I can pull him out of the car immediately after I get the door. Or I can shoot the gas tank and just explode him instantly right there, or do massive damage, depending on how much damage has already been done to him. So yeah, the convoys are pretty fun. That's the thing that you probably won't be able to do right away, but once you hit that the 10-hour mark, these first few really aren't that bad. But I kind of waited for 10 hours. As you can see, I've gotten the second paint color here. I've taken out 2 of the top dogs. That's what gives you the paint color for your vehicle, and you're going to want to get a couple of them because otherwise your car is going to look like rust the entire game, just covered in rust. Not much else you can do. I've got spikes all over. I've got an addition to my suspension, I believe, and I've got an engine part sticking out of the hood there. I can't remember if that's exhaust. I think it's something else. But yeah, so it gets pretty fun, at this point. After the 10 hours, you can finally put some upgrades into max. You can finally do some upgrades to your car. You can start kind of feeling like a badass, except when you run through flames and take damage. You'll start taking out convoys. You'll start removing the threat, down to nearly nothing. This guy's threat, the threat level for this area is just down to almost 1, and that's because I've pretty much done everything. So yeah, you'll get hood ornaments. I haven't gotten a repair upgrade yet, but you know what? You're going to start to be able to finally customize your car somewhat. Unfortunately, some things are a little bit more linear than I kind of wanted. When it comes to upgrade, you're kind of forced to get some before others, but it is what it is. And you're going to start taking out, like I said, this is one of the top dogs. You can tell what paint color scheme I got from him is basically what he's wearing. So, yeah, they're not too bad. They're basically a matter of staying away from them, sticking and moving, and then taking them out. But that's how you get the different body colors, is by taking out a top dog camp. And this is the later on. As you can see, when you want to upgrade your ramming grill, it's going to cut into your acceleration by quite a bit, and it's going to cut into your handling. So you really need to upgrade your engine before you start adding more armor onto your car. As you can see, this is gonna cut my acceleration and handling by a third, just adding a grill like that. So you really need to start doing all the upgrades. And as you can see, you're not confined to just the desert. You do get a bit of color in here, like this is from the algae. This is over in Gut Gash's area. You got more jagged rocks and whatnot. I haven't even seen what Pink Eye, what his area looks like yet. So as you can see, it's not all just, barren desert. That's the starting area, but it gets to be a bit different. This is also where the storms are electrified, so you'll have lightning bolts you got to contend with. And if Mad Max is outside of his car, he's going to take some pretty good damage. But the rewards are that you get that, more scrap in those boxes that are floating by. As you can see, this is more of a volcanic area. So yeah, it varies. So this is what the map looks like after about 20 hours. As you can see, I've completely neutralized a lot of the right side of the map. This is still in red because I haven't done convoys, I haven't done camps, but and right there I only missed one of the minefields. But as you can see, I've done everything in Balefire Flat. I've done everything here. everything here. There's Jeet's territory is pretty low to begin with. I'm missing one minefield there, and I haven't done a few things like snipers and two convoys up there and whatnot. But that's kind of what happens. You take it down from red to pinkish to, that's how you take out the area, and you kind of neutralize the color. And as you can see, I still got pink eyes, huge area, and then I got Gastown. So, yeah, it's really fun. I still recommend the game, but I just wanted you guys to know some more of the details about it. So, hey, if you see this game for a good price, pick it up.